Respected Chairperson of the Harmony Trust, Dr. Muhammad Nad Abdus Sabur, Secretary and CEO of the Trust, Mr. Amitabh Bhattacharya ji, distinguished guests, viewers, and my dear brothers and sisters. I congratulate Harmony, the private voluntary organization which has been registered in Bangladesh under the Trust Act, for its wonderful initiative to start the E-Library on Yoga and Naturopathy. This is the need of the hour in the world because we need the information of yoga research, yoga applications, and naturopathy as the way of life. Yoga as the science of holistic living, and naturopathy a natural way of life, which is most important in the current context. Because when the whole world is rid with this COVID, and hardly we have any medicines to deal with this coronavirus, it is very necessary that we have to keep our entire immune system in a very healthy status and see that it will deal with these viruses that come from outside. Fortunately, we have such a strong defense system that it can ward off all such viruses coming from outside. But if the immune system gets weak, stress has an immunosuppressant factor, and the wrong lifestyle of anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation, arrogance on one side, and wrong lifestyle of the food habits and going on throughout the night and morning getting up very late and such things which shatters the inner biorhythm of the body, they all cause tremendous suppression to the immune system. And that will encourage the corona or otherwise to enter into the body and see that it comes up. Therefore, it is very necessary that this knowledge base of the natural system of healing, non-pharmacological intervention of yoga and naturopathy are most relevant to the modern times. And I once again wish Harmony for their initiative for taking this E-Library of Yoga and Naturopathy for the people all over the globe. I wish all the best to this initiative of Harmony. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
That was really nice to hear from our Guruji. Thank you so much, Guruji. We are really, really grateful. Now, next up, we would like to invite we have a great yoga master and tantric healer today with us. He is none other than Peter Martin from Belgium with us. He's the author of some critically acclaimed books like The Yoga of Nine Emotions, The Yoga of Truth, Love Your Ego, etc. He is one of the leading practitioners of Rasa Sadhana, the Yoga of Emotions, which is one of the priorities of our works in Harmony. I humbly request Master Peter Martin to say a few words about today's launching program of the E-Library of Yoga and Naturopathy. So please.
Thank you, Fariha. I hope you're all hearing me well. So I was asked to talk a little bit about the relationship between yoga and health and knowledge, of course, and the quality of that knowledge. And maybe first starting on this relationship between yoga and health. To many people in the world, this is still not very obvious, or people only look at it in a more physical sense, doing physical exercises to bring some relaxation and relief to the body. But as Guruji also pointed out before in relationship to our immunity system and the coronavirus, this relationship between yoga and health is quite absolute. In a way, how can you be happy without being healthy? Yes, this is one thing. But on the other hand, also, how can you be healthy without being happy? This is the other part of it, which is not so easily understood, but is still very much dominant. I mean, if you go into the waiting room of a doctor, very often you will see there some sign saying, laughter is the best medicine, right? So even among medical professions, people understand that there is some relationship between our happiness and our health. But of course, for many people, this phrase will appear as difficult to attain, no? Especially if you have a health issue, then to laugh is not so easy, no? But this is precisely what yoga is teaching us. If we look into the ancient description of the path of yoga, with the 7 steps, 7 bhumikas as they are called there, then we see in the first step, where the whole game of yoga starts, a desire coming to escape from the outside world and go into the inside world, because we get kind of tired that our happiness always seems to depend on the outside world. And so, since we do not have much control over the outside world, our happiness and our unhappiness, they tend to kind of fluctuate like the seasons. And so at some point we get fed up with that, and we ask the very revolutionary question, can I not be happy independent of what happens? Can I not be happy independent of what other people are doing? Can I not be happy just from the inside? And this is, of course, there where in yoga, if we practice, we more and more connect to some part of us, some central part of us, where happiness is actually a base fact, you know? And so the more that we learn to connect there, the more easy it is to live up to the objective of yoga and be happy whatever happens. And so then, yeah, that also will then affect our health. And I'd like to quote also a very famous phrase by Professor Kandachi Perth, who was the Nobel Prize winner of chemistry some 2 decades ago. She is actually the inventor of Prozac, or she did the research that led to the invention of Prozac. And she says very clearly, someday mankind will come to understand and accept that all disease is at least in part psychosomatic, meaning is at least in part affected by our mental health, by our happiness. So that is a very essential understanding, but it also means that to teach yoga, to practice yoga, goes quite a bit beyond doing some physical exercise, which could be learned and taught quite easily if it were only a physical thing, like maybe you can learn how to dance, or you can learn some other physical exercises. It should be relatively easy, but in the game of yoga, it is actually a very, very mysterious subject, because health and happiness are in a way still very mysterious. Still, in many cases, even modern medical science has no idea why certain diseases are happening. There are many, many of the typical diseases of modern society that have no clear origin in the understanding, and where somehow or other it is pointed towards the autoimmune system, towards auto-inflammation, towards, yeah, a lot of things which seem then clearly to be also affected by the happiness of the people. But so we are talking here about a quite difficult subject, for which then correct understanding is a necessity. When we analyze why people turn to yoga, why people start their first yoga class, then we easily can see that most of them, over 90% of them, are doing this because they are facing some kind of problem, whether it be physical or mental or both. So if as yoga teachers, we have to be successful in what we are doing, we really need to be able to help these people. Whatever other marketing we are doing on social media and so on, if our clients are not going to be satisfied, it is not going to be very efficient. It is only when people step out and, for example, on social media, start talking about the benefits that they themselves have experienced from their yogic practice, that they will be able to motivate other people to join. And in that way, any local small yoga group can grow if the teaching is based on correct knowledge, and we should not underestimate the complexity of that knowledge. Sometimes it is oversimplified by pointing to simple things like being able to be quiet inside and all these things, that we then find in yoga philosophy. But to really come from a state of disharmony in which many people are, towards a state of relative harmony where we feel good and can remain healthy, this is not an easy task. And so the knowledge that we need to have as yoga teacher is vast, because there are so many special cases. Anyway, you can say that every student is a special case and every problem is special and requires also a quite specialized knowledge. The most important knowledge, of course, that we can gain in studying yoga is through the practice itself, where we become students of ourselves and where we can see how, for example, some breathing technique or some particular yoga posture can produce a certain effect inside of us. This knowledge is actually the most important, because if our knowledge is only book knowledge, then it will never be real. It will only be something that we parrot. So we need to experience this knowledge in ourselves, and only then we can truly pass it on and apply it to that specific person who is sitting in front of us. But on the other hand, this understanding about self-study and the importance of self-study should also not lead to the idea that we don't need any books. That is also a wrong thinking, which is quite often found in yoga circles. Oh, I don't need any books, I don't need any teacher, I will find out everything by myself. While this is not a basically bad attitude, it is still a little bit, I would say, stupid, because why would you not help yourself by learning from those who have gone before you? And in that, the Vedic tradition offers thousands and thousands of years of literature, of experiences being described, of special cases being studied and explained, and solutions being offered. So there, why invent the wheel yourself? Yes. So much knowledge is already there. So much knowledge is readily available. So we have to have this access to it. And then it is rightly said in the beginning also of this event that while today's internet offers a vast amount of information, there is not so much knowledge readily available, and it is very hard for the student and for new yoga teachers to dare find those works, those books that are honestly bringing real knowledge and that are not more, I would say, commercially inspired or based upon very limited understanding. And the democracy of the internet means that everybody can put out any information that they want, which is very nice in a way. But it also means that every stupid person can put out a lot of information out there and make it appear as if it is very well founded. So that problem certainly is faced by every student around the world, and definitely also in this quite mysterious area of knowledge about yoga and health. It is very easy to become confused. So I believe that the idea to offer yoga teachers in Bangladesh a library online with good literature that has been pre-selected by a number of specialists in their own fields, I think that is very, very valuable. And I hope that with this, yoga teachers in Bangladesh may be successful in a way bringing back this old knowledge to modern society, making people experiencing it, making people get the benefits of it, so that in that way every one of these students at some point also becomes a person, maybe not a real teacher, but a person who is sharing his understanding and sharing the experience and making the interest and the practice of yoga, and of course also naturopathy, I haven't really been talking about that, to make it grow and to make it part of mainstream culture, which today it is not. No? It is not in the West, it is not in the East. So we have lots of work there to do, but this work can only be done properly if it is based on true knowledge, on good books. And as I said, the books themselves are somewhat also limited in what they can teach you, but still they can make the path so much easier. And I remember myself in the 80s and 90s when I was traveling about every year to India, that always I had to pay overweight charges on the airplane going home because of the so many books that I bought in India, which I could not find in Belgium, which I could not find in Europe. So all that has changed now, but still we need to make sure that the correct knowledge, and this is in part the old knowledge, and this may be also some new knowledge, let's say on a subject like burnout, which is very popular these days and a very real problem that many, many people are facing, and for which many, many people are seeking some kind of clarity and some kind of help and some kind of relaxation in the practice of yoga, in the use of natural medicines, and so on. And so that also on this subject, we can find those books, that literature, which really is going to help everybody to move forward. So I don't really know if I am already talking too long. It might be. Do I still
No, sir.
have time or?
Really, really enlightening, sir. It was really enlightening. And thank you so much, Master, for your views and thoughts and sharing your experiences. That was really nice of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, then I would like to address that um, our guest, Mr. Riyad Imam Mahmood, is here with us. Welcome, sir. Then I would like to invite Mr. Sumant Nag from Kolkata. He is from SBSC University. He was my teacher here there. So I would like to request Mr. Sumant Nag, a great yoga practitioner, to say something. in the ceremony.
Sorry, excuse me, Fariha. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I think there might be a misunderstanding. So probably Riyad bhai will be waiting. Riyad bhai, can you just wait for a few minutes because Shumanta will be leaving for a class. Just 1 or 2 minutes, Riyad bhai. Will it be all right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
2
So
minutes.
Shumanta, please.
Okay, namaskar and respected all the guests. And it is a very enlightening speech by Peter sir. And also before our Guruji told what is the main implementation of the yoga nowadays. And for that book also, it is a very essential thing because it is authenticate. If you write something, if you keep in your library, something that you can read afterwards. You can just hear some lecture on yoga, lecture some spirituality, lecture some any other subject, but it will come in your mind. Maybe you can forget in future. But if you keep it in the library, it is a wonderful asset for you. It is not like that equivalent of for any type of properties, and that knowledge of yoga and especially the naturopathy and yoga together, it is also a really a precious things because you know that yoga, if we just talk about that yoga immediately, that some posture, some pranayama, some meditation technique just coming in front of our eyes. People used to see only that somebody is doing modeling their body, but yoga is not. Yoga is a completely a scientific process how to control our mind. And as Peter said, just told you, and also we are learning here every day. Then all the modern diseases, whatever we are suffering, that whole world is suffering, especially the common man with this without knowledge. They thought that maybe they have got the diabetes or any other type of modern ailment only due to the cause of others. But the practical thing is, I am responsible for whatever problem I am suffering. When that knowledge I can understand, then I will start controlling myself. I can uh, start caring myself. And that is the way of yoga and naturopathy, to know oneself. If you know oneself through the yoga and naturopathy, I am sure that you can easily control all other factors for your misery, for your whatever that sorrow we are getting, whatever the pain we are getting day to day life. That is, it can be removed or you can sublimate. And that is for that this library, the knowledge is very much needed. And that is a wonderful initiative have taken by the Harmony in that organization. It is a matter of a big proud. And as we are staying very near, Bangladesh is very near to India, we are always ready to help them. And also we also want to take lot of things from there to show the transformation between the two countries. And through the knowledge, it gives a wonderful impact for the humanity, for the well-being of whole society. And we are always here to help you. Thank you to give me the scope to tell something about the yoga and naturopathy. And thank you the organizer. And I namaskar. And see you once again afterwards in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Namaskar, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, I would like to invite our next guest, our country director of Max Foundation, Mr. Riyad Imam Mahmood, is with us today. Sir, welcome. I would request him to say a few words about his views on this digital library of yoga and naturopathy. Sir, please. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me in this very interesting event, and particularly a very useful initiative. Uh, I don't know whether any of this kind still in Bangladesh, or probably this is the first one, the online library on yoga. So it is a kind of innovation too. Particularly, the things are changing, our lifestyles are changing, and accessing to information are also improving. And it is not improving; it is already improved a lot. We are having a lot of opportunities and a lot of uh, good outputs from internet, and also using the online libraries. So I would like to appreciate this initiative, particularly when we see we people work in now in urban in Bangladesh urban lifestyle. It is far different than European urban or many other countries urban, because we don't have much space for playing or space for physical movement. We spend a lot of hours on our desk for working, and also we live in houses where we have less space for movement. And different studies already indicating that there is a lot of effect of this kind of lifestyle, particularly in Dhaka. It is increasing diabetes, hypertension in adults, also obesity, psychological impact like frustration and other psychological problem, but it also impacting on children, particularly the children. I work for with child health, so I always have eyes on such kind of impacts, particularly the urbanization impact over children, and a kind of urbanization where children don't have enough playground, children don't have enough space in school to play, or the there is a kind of behavior among the guardian that people when children the school is end, then immediately they take the children back to home, so children don't have much social mixing opportunity. That a lot of psychological and physical impact. And yoga, we know it is already proven, and yoga is a very very effective meditation, or a kind of physical practice that improve lifestyle, health, psychology. So it have a lot of impact. On the other hand, the organization harmony, the naturopathy, that is also it is a kind of old practice that we forgot, so it is bringing back. And I think we also have to bring back a lot of our lifestyles that we forget or we compromise due to our urban living style. So I would like to appreciate uh, Harmony Trust and also Naturopathy, and also the organizers, Amitabh Da, and also Didi here. So I would like to thank for such a very, very important initiative. And we are with you, because particularly I want to be a learner from your organization, and I want other people also follow this and they learn from this kind of initiative. It will be the benefit, at utmost benefit for every person's life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable speech. That was really nice. Next, I would like to invite our. Then I would like to invite our legendary professor, Dr. Shobhakat Choudhury.
Sorry, Fariha.
Ji.
Fariha,
Yes,
can I just sorry, because I think it is Mr. Shalom is now joining. So
he is not here, sir.
no, he'll be joining within a few seconds. I think.
Okay. So then we can wait for him for a few minutes, I think.
Few seconds actually.
Okay.
In the meantime, I should express my acknowledgement to Riyadh Bhai for joining here. He's from a different segments of the development sector, but it's always good to have him with us. Okay, so is Shalom here? Has he joined?
Not yet, sir. Not yet.
Okay, then I think okay, we should move for sir.
Yeah, I think he's on the road now, so we can wait for him. And in the meantime, we can invite our next guest. Okay, and I would like to request our legendary professor, Dr. Shubhagata Chaudhuri, former principal of Chattogram Medical College, to share his thoughts in few words regarding the E-Library. Dr. Shubhagata Chaudhuri is the pioneer for popularizing health education for the mass people. We have learned about the maintenance of health from his columns in national dailies. He has written many health-related books where we can learn about our physical and mental health. Professor Dr. Shubhagata Chaudhuri, sir, please, we would like to hear a few words from you regarding the E-Library.
Thanks very much for your sheet. And I congratulate, first of all, this initiative done by the Harmony Trust, launching this event, first digital library, E-Library, on the naturopathy. Now, this is a type of medicine. I mean, health is defined as not as the absence of disease or infirmity, but health is defined as the well-being of physical, mental, social, and spiritual health. This is defined by World Health Organization. So health is not only a treatment. Health is also to prevent disease. Health is also to make people well. Health is also well-being. So this is a huge campus, a broad campus on which the health may be drawn as a picture. So this advent of this natural medicine or naturopathy, or the relief of people, or the comfort of the people, or relief of the agonies, anxieties of the people, but the discourse of nature, which Hippocrates has told many, many years ago, 400 BC, the Greek philosopher who used to believe that you have to understand the whole person. So actually naturopathy believes on the holistic medicine. This means you have to treat the disease. Nowadays, the contemporary medicine, the scientific medicine also believes in the treating the patient, not treating the disease. So this concept is now changed. Treating the disease, not the disease, but treating the patient. And to understand the cause of the disease, and to understand the root cause of the disease, and then treat it. You can say, heal it, heal that person. You may treat, but may not be healed. So this is a very different issue, which comes out in this way. And you see that this naturopathy came to this world many, many years ago, many centuries ago. And actually, it came as a holistic medicine from Germany to United States of America. Even it was existing in the 2nd century BC in different forms. So even in China, even in India, and the Harmony Trust is practicing this for a long time. And the yoga medicine, the reflexology, the acupressure, these are the three main tenets of the naturopathy, or holistic medicine, whatever you call it. And there is also a good thing which has been told my predecessor as the burning out. Yes. There are many doctors now, and many of the frontline workers in the corona pandemic now is burning out. And they are having a lot of anxieties, emotions, and having a lot of distress. And in this case, this may be helped by a meditation. This may be helped by yoga. This may be helped by reflexology. So it is maybe as a complementary or supplementary or alternative, whatever you may call it, But treating the whole person, the naturopathy will go a long way to find out the innate power of nature to heal a person, the innate power of nature to heal a person. And it is not harmful, and it is treating the whole person. And also to make people understand to take good care of himself. As we now understand, the prevention is better than cure. And holism or holistic medicine is actually the preventive medicine. That is what is this. And psychotherapy or counseling, whatever it is, it comes in this. And not only the yoga, reflexology, or acupressure, this also is important for the nutrition and the diet therapy. The proper nutrition of a person, the proper lifestyle. And you have understood about the circadian rhythm, you have understood about the biorhythm. So these are some of the areas which are influenced by the lifestyle itself. And now we find that many of the chronic diseases are diseases of the lifestyle. And there, along with medicine, before giving medicine, we prescribe the lifestyle modification, even in diabetes, in heart disease, in cancer, or in respiratory even disease, we prescribe for lifestyle modification. And lifestyle modification includes the discourse to nature, the naturopathy. I stop here because there are a lot of other giants present who will be delivering and will be learning this. I am also a learner, a humble learner of this domain, because I'm not a man of this domain, I'm a man of other domain, but I've entered or rather intruded into this. And thank you very much for inviting me to talk about it a little. And whatever I know a very little. I am a learner. Thank you very much for the initiative. Thanks Amitav Bhattacharya, Faria Rashid, and Mr. Subhan, and the president of the organization, and other guests which are present here. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very informative. We are really grateful for you to be here with us. Then I will like to go to our DIG, sir. Our Honorable DIG of Bangladesh Police, Mr. Mohammad Shah Alam, is here with us. I must mention here that he has voluntarily taken various initiatives to spread naturopathy, especially reflexology. At present, about 3,000 police officers could receive reflexology training because of his initiatives. Sir Shahlam, may I request you to share your thoughts on today's E-Library launching ceremony? Sir, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to everybody. This is my privilege to talk to this ceremony. As Mr. Dr. Professor Shivagutu says that he is a learner. I am more than a learner. I'm not at all an expert or specialist in this field. But what I know, what I earned during the last couple of years, I found that so many persons have been benefited through using reflexology in particular. So with my capacity, I found myself privileged to introduce naturopathy, which is actually known as reflexology or acupressure. Those are the names actually are frequently used in our training courses. And I found many of our officers who are over 40 or 50, obviously they have different kind of problem due to their age, mental and physical and professional pressure. So I understood that they are going to be benefited from this kind of naturopathy, which is actually no medicine are being used, so no question of reaction is there. So I try my best, and still I am trying to make it official. So far, whatever is going on, a bit quasi-official measures. But I found the recipients, the student participants, they accepted the course very. They liked the course very much, and of course, from the feedback from the participants are very positive. So it also encouraged me to continue the things, especially what I used to do. Always there is a gap in the last day when there is the final test or final exam, and the result, publishing the result and taking the final exam. There are 1 or 2 hours gaps are there. So I try to use those gap. By introducing this kind of class. You have already heard that more than 3,000 police officers have received training on these things. Not particularly on this issue actually. Into their regular training courses, I arranged a special class on these issues. So far, I can remember first time I have been. This is also my privilege to share how I came to know. It is, I think, 2012. I was a director in the police staff college. I think director academic or director curriculum, something like that. So the rector of the police staff college, he introduced me with some, I forgot the names, on banker actually. He was actually explaining that how, he was telling acupressure anyway, that it is going. So when I say acupressure, I think it is acupuncture. He assured me, no, there is no needle, so no need to worry, but it is pressure. I just, with the way people used to look like some like this, just I giving a vague look to the people, to the person. Just I was not really listening, just to hearing just what he said, telling. But all of a sudden, I then found that he can identify that I have some back pain. I know one of my colleague who is actually 5 years junior to me. He has severe problem, but my problem is minor in any way. He diagnosed the case. He said, "You have back pain." I say, "Yes, I have pain." And he said, "You press here." I understand now. It is the point number 9. Then I press, and all of a sudden I found that I feel very good relief. In the next second, I start believing that there must be something very good and very positive. And in any way, so I was few more months there. But when I joined in CID, Criminal Investigation Department, and after receiving promotion at additional DIG, and I joined in CID, then I had the opportunity to lead a newly formed training institute, forensic training institute, and I took that opportunity. Okay, why don't of course, I think I should take this opportunity to introduce a new class on naturopathy for my students. Most of them are, of course, if not most, many of them are older, more than 40 or 50 at their age. So I was a bit inquisitive that how far they are going to receive this new issue, but I find that they like it, they love it, and I don't know how many of them really follow, but I found, at least in the class, they found it very positive for them. Then after couple of years, whenever I talk to anyone about naturopathy or acupressure, that was the term we used to use at that time. So everybody used to ask me, Sagar Sogi? I said, no, I don't know who is Sagar Sogi. But I understand that Mr. Sagar Sogi, he was also, something contributing a lot. But after a couple of years, I found that gentleman, he is previously known to me. Then he left, but some of his colleagues or co-workers, Mr. Amitabh, also Ilora, I forgot that. I think so. It's the Shaida Sultana, if Ilora. Then I came to just we were to start working together. They are working. I used to accompany them, assist them. Actually, I have very little scope. Just I try to contribute whatever I can do from my side. So, in short, আমি একজন ভক্ত আর কি ভালো কাজে অংশটার আমি যেখানে সুযোগ পেয়েছি এটাকে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করার চেষ্টা করেছি এবং আমি চেষ্টা করেছি এগুলো বিশেষজ্ঞদের কাছে একটু নিয়ে যাওয়ার জন্য আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে আমি একজন পুলিশ অফিসার আমি যদি বলি আমি ন্যাচারোপ্যাথির ভক্ত তো এটাতে কারো কিছু এসে যায় না রাদার আমি আমার কাছে এরকম মনে হয়েছে যদি আমি বরং যারা এই পেশার মানুষ একজন ডাক্তার যদি কথাগুলো বলেন আমি তখন তাদেরকে বললাম যে তারা মিস্টার অমিতাভ আমার কাছে বললেন যে আপনার একটা কি শুভেচ্ছা বাণী বা কিছু আমি দেখেন আমার শুভেচ্ছা বাণী এখানে আমি খুব ফিট না আমার কাছে মনে হয় আপনি রাদার পিজির একজন ডাক্তার কিংবা এই বিষয়ে যারা বিশেষজ্ঞ তাদেরকেও এসে কথাগুলো বলুক বা যারা এই বললে সুন্দর হবে ভালো হবে যাক উনি আবার এই কাজটা খুব কষ্ট করে করলেন তা আমি বললাম আগে আপনি তাদের কাছে একটু এক্সপ্লেন করেন যে কেন এটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ তারপর উনি নিজে থেকেই করছিলেন আমিও তাদেরকে অনেকে সাজেস্ট করছিলাম আর কি তো কাজটা খুব ভালোই এগুচ্ছিল আর কি বা এগুচ্ছে এখন পর্যন্ত তো আমি চেষ্টা করেছি আমার পেশার বাইরেও যারা আমার স্বজন বন্ধু বিভিন্ন পেশার মানুষদের কাছে নিয়ে যেতে তো ফলাফলগুলো মানে অবিশ্বাস্য রকম সুন্দর আমি জানি না আসলে সবাই কি এত চমৎকার ফল পায় কিনা আমি দুটো ঘটনা বলে আমি বিশ্বাস করছি কথাগুলো একটা আমার এই শাশুড়ি আম্মার কথাটা বলি আমি এখনো বিশ্বাস করি না ঘটনাটা ঘটেছে আর কি আমি আবার বলছি যে ওনার দুটো প্রবলেম ছিল আমার শাশুড়ি আম্মার একটা হচ্ছে ক্যান্সারের উনি একটা মানে সার্জারির পরে উনি একটা বেশ ভালো একটা ইয়েতে থাকতে হয় তাকে ক্যান্সার আক্রান্ত হয়ে থাকে ওষুধপত্র খেতে হয় নিয়মিত আর তাছাড়া ব্লাড প্রেশার হাই প্রেশার ছাড়া ওনার একটা প্রবলেম আছে সেটা হচ্ছে কি বলে ওটাকে নেফ্রোলজিক্যাল প্রবলেম আছে আর কি মানে কিডনির সমস্যা আছে ভালোই আছে অল্প সমস্যা না তো ওনার যখন ইজিএফআর 49 এই গত জুন মাসে ছিল ইজিএফআর 49 আমরা একটু অরিড 49 মানে বছরে এক করে কমলো তো অনেক কমে যাবে সেও আমরা একটু এর মধ্যে ওই ক্যান্সারের ডাক্তার তাকে এমন একটা ওষুধ খাওয়ালেন তা আমরা 1 মাস পরে 4 সপ্তাহ 4টা ট্যাবলেট খাওয়ার পরে 1 মাস পরে যখন তার ইজিএফআরটা আমি নিজে থেকে মনে হলো ইজিএফআরটা নেওয়া দরকার ক্রিটিনাইনের পাশাপাশি ক্রিটিনাইনটা অনেক সময় হয়তো একটু মিসলিড করতে পারে কিনা ওই যদি ইজিএফআর ক্রিটিনাইন একটা ভাই সেটা অন্য কথা যাই হোক তো দেখা গেল ওটা 29 দেখে তো আমার রীতিমতো আমি একদম উদ্বিগ্ন হয়ে গেলাম যে 49 থেকে 29 কি করে হলো তো কি করা যায় এখন তো আমার শাশুড়ি মা বলতে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে আমি একটু দেখি কিন্তু আমরা আর 1-2 সপ্তাহ পরে উনি কিছু ওষুধ খাওয়াটা তো বন্ধ করলেই নেই আরো কিছু প্রিকশনের একটা নিলেন এখন ইজিএফআর হয়ে গেল 100 আমি হাউ কাম 100 কি করে হয় তো অসম্ভব ব্যাপার তো আমার শাশুড়ি মা তখন বললেন আমি এই মানে রিফ্লেক্সোলজিটা ব্যবহার করেছি তা আমি বলছি আবারও বলছি আমার কাছে এখন অবিশ্বাস্য মনে হয় যে 100 হয়েছে এই ক্রিটিনাইন হয়ে গেছে 0.63 এটা উনি ব্লাড টেস্ট কি বলেছে এটা হচ্ছে বড় ব্যাপার উনি ফিল করছেন উনি অনেক ভালো এটা হচ্ছে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ আমরা অবশ্যই সপ্তাহ 2 পর আরেকবার মাপার ব্যবস্থা করব এরকম আরো অজস্র উদাহরণ আছে আমি যাদেরকে দিয়েছি এটা অলমোস্ট সব জায়গাতেই এটা অনেক ভালো কাজ করেছে ফেলিওর রেট ভেরি ক্লোজ টু জিরো আমার মনে হয় খুব নেই বললেই চলে আর কি যাদেরকে যে পরামর্শ আমার একটা ছোট বোন থাকে নিউ ইয়র্কে ও হাতের মধ্যে কি হাত নাড়তে পারে না বাচ্চাকে ভালো করে কোলেও নিতে পারে না কারণ সামহাও তাকে ওখানে বলা হলো নিউ ইয়র্কের ডাক্তার তাকে ইলেকট্রিক শক দিয়েছে হাতের মধ্যে ভালো করার জন্য তা আমাকে বলাতে দেন আই টক টু এন এক্সপার্ট উনি বললো আপনি 1 2 3 4 5 এরকম কোনো কয়েকটা পয়েন্ট বললো এই পয়েন্টগুলোতে চাপ দেন তা আমি চাপ দেওয়ার সাথে সাথে বললো ভাই আমার তো আমার খুব ভালো লাগছে যে না আমার হাতটা ফ্রি হয়ে গেছে এবং তারপরেও আমার সে বোন ভক্ত হয়ে গেল এটার আর কি এক ডাক্তার আমার আত্মীয়র মধ্যে এক ডাক্তার আমি গিয়েছিলাম তার কাছে আমার চিকিৎসার জন্য তখন উনি তার আত্মীয় আইদার শ্বশুর বা শাশুড়ি বা বাবা বা মা যেরকম একজন বয়স্ক মানুষের ব্যাপারে বললেন, আমি আবার তাকে সাজেস্ট করলাম যে আপনি এটা করেন। করে বললাম আমি শুধু তা করি না, আমি আবার বই কিনে ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট কিনে সবগুলো একটা সেট পাঠিয়ে দেই যাতে এটা তারা একটু ফলো করেন। তা আমি পাঠিয়ে দিলাম, আর কয়েক মাস কোনো খবর টবর নেই। বেশ কিছুদিন পরে আবার যখন আমি 2-3 মাস পরে একবার গেলাম তার চেম্বারে, তো বললাম কথায় কথা বললাম, আচ্ছা ওটা কি, আপনি কি ওইটা ওই যে আকুপ্রেশার বা রিফ্লেক্সোলজি আপনি কি কিছু রাখেন কথা শোনেন। তো উনি লম্বা কাহিনী বলা শুরু করলেন যে ওনার উনি তো ভালো উপকার পেয়েছেন তো বটেই, আরো বহু ডাক্তার বহু লোককে উনি এটার সাথে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করিয়েছেন। তো দিস আর দ্য গুড থিংস। আমি যে কথাটা বলতে চাচ্ছি, আসলে আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে যে এরকম একটা বিজ্ঞানকে আমরা আমাদের বাংলাদেশের মতো দেশ বলে তো বটেই, যেটা একসাথে ডিটেকশন করে, ডায়াগনোসিস করে, আবার প্রিভেন্ট করে, প্লাস আবার করে, কিউরও করে, এবং একই পদ্ধতিতে, যার কোনো অ্যাপারেন্টলি কোনো ইয়া নেই, মানে যেটাকে বলে পার্শ্ব প্রতিক্রিয়া নেই। এতগুলো এই সুন্দর সিস্টেমটা একটা রেগুলার চিকিৎসার পাশাপাশি যদি ব্যবহার করা হয়, একটা মানুষ যে রিলিফ পায়, আমি এরকম অসংখ্য প্রমাণ দেখেছি। সেই প্রমাণটা আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে আমি একটু শেয়ার করার একটা সুযোগ নেওয়া উচিত। কাজে যখনই আমি মিস্টার অমিতাভ এবং মিস ইলোরার কাছ থেকে আমি ইনভাইটেশনটা পেয়েছি, আমি বলেছি আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে যে না, আমার মোটামুটি যে অভিজ্ঞতা যেটুকু আছে এগুলো আমার শেয়ার করা উচিত আর কি। সেটাই আমি করলাম, এবং আমি তাদের এই যে উদ্যোগটা তারা নিয়েছেন, আর যারাই উদ্যোগ নেন সব উদ্যোগকে আমি মনে করি আমাদের সাপোর্ট করা উচিত, এবং এটা জাতীয় স্বাস্থ্য নীতিতেও যদি এটা ভালোভাবে প্রতিফলন হয়ে এটা ব্যবহার করা হয়, বিশেষ করে আমার যেটা মনে হয় স্পেশালি স্কুল এবং কলেজগুলোতে যদি একটু চ্যাপ্টার রাখা হয়, যে বিষয়টা যাতে অপরিচিত না থাকে আর কি। খুব যেহেতু এটা খুব বড় কোনো চ্যাপ্টার না, মানে খুব বিশাল কোনো অধ্যায় না, ছোট ছোট একটু মূল জিনিসটা একটু জিনিসটা জেনে নিয়ে শিখে নিলে অনেক কাজেও এটা ব্যবহার করার সুযোগ আছে। আর একটা কথা, এটা না বললেই নয়, আমি 2018-তে আমাকে বড় একটা স্ট্রেসের মধ্যে যেতে হয়েছিল। আমার ছেলে যখন অসুস্থ হয়ে পড়ে, তাকে নিয়ে আমি প্রায় 3.5 মাসের মতো দেশের বাইরে ছিলাম লং টার্ম লিভে। আমি যখন ফিরে আসি, আমি নিজেও জানতাম না কি মাত্রায় আমি এক্সস্টেড ছিলাম আর কি। তো সেখানেও আমি আই এম গ্রেটফুল টু টু naturopathy, also in particularly in person ইলোরা এবং তার গ্রুপের কাছে, যারা আমাকে একটা প্রচন্ড খুব ভালো একটা ইয়ে করেছেন, সাপোর্ট দিয়েছেন তখন আর কি। তো এইসব আসলে অনেক কথাই আর কি, অনেক মানে ভালো স্মৃতি আছে আমাদের এই ইয়ে নিয়ে, ব্যক্তিগত আমার এবং আমার পারিপার্শ্বিক পরিজনের। তা আমি এই যে এই লাইব্রেরির যে উদ্যোগটা নেওয়া হয়েছে, অবশ্যই এটা কাজে লাগবে। এটা এক্সপার্টদের জন্য লাগবে, আমরা যারা একটু জনতা, আমাদের তো এক্সপার্ট না হলেও চলে, কিন্তু মোটামুটি ভাবে আমরা তার এক্সপার্টরা যা পড়ে এসে আমাদের সারমর্ম জানাবেন, আর আমরা এটা যেটা কথাটা আমরা যেটুকু প্রয়োগ করা প্রয়োজন সেটা আমরা প্রয়োগ করবো, সেটাই আর কি। তো আমরা আমাদের প্রেক্ষাপট থেকে চেষ্টা করছি এসব সামগ্রিক সাপোর্ট দেওয়ার জন্য। আরো যদি ভালো কিছু আমরা দিতে পারি সেগুলো আমরা শেয়ার করবো পর্যায়ক্রমে। আমার মনে হয় এটুকুই আমার বলার ছিল। আর আমি আবারও হারমোনিকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি, কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাচ্ছি আমাকে এখানে কথা বলার সুযোগ করে দেওয়ার জন্য। তো সবাই ভালো থাকেন, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আপনাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ, অনেক ধন্যবাদ সাহেব, আপনি এই ব্যস্ততার মধ্যে এলেন এবং আমাদেরকে এতটা সময় দিলেন। We are really thankful to you, and we believe that we will be able to continue our journey along. We have miles to go together. Fariha, before going to any other persons, I think I should inform the audience about the issue that we are expecting Dr. Rashidi Mahbub sir here with us, but he just informed us that he was actually having a very busy day today and is now not in a very good position to talk. So we thought that okay, we should consider his physical condition, and rather he wished for us for our success, and with that we can continue. And I think still we are waiting for our Dato, our honorable member of parliament here. So before going to any other persons, I think that probably somehow Peter has been stopped in the middle of his because he just asked. So I think we can request the great tantric yogi Peter Marchant to come back again with few words that he wanted to say us for concluding, particularly in relation to his advice for us on how best we can make best use of this library, and we can continue our services for providing education, mainly in forms of peer learning to the yoga teachers. So, Peter, will it be possible for you, sir, to come here and again say a few words, concluding words?
Yes. Well, one subject that is, of course, very important, which I talked about before, is this selection of, let's say, worthy materials, worthy books, worthy literature for people to use. And of course, it is important from the very beginning to understand that this is not really an easy task. Because when we go into the different yoga philosophies, the different yoga traditions, the different yoga branches, and just the same when we go into the many, many different ways in which naturopathy, reflexology, and so many other natural therapies can be helpful to people, then it is very easy to get into a kind of conflict about, what is the best knowledge, what is the best technique, and so on. And I like to just say something from my own practice there. I am a teacher, but I am also very much a healer. And I can only say that to me, all yogic practices and all natural remedies or therapies are largely complementary in trying to bring health and happiness to people. So in that way, when we make a selection of good books, we should be open-minded. The fact that a number of people with good knowledge select a particular book for this library, for me, it should be enough. Let's say we like to add some books on the subject of chakras to this library. We'd have the choice among many hundreds of books actually, and many of these books may be having different views, different opinions, different approaches to that subject. So the main task there would be to filter out those works that are really somewhat unfounded, that are not really showing a broad enough view of the subject. But apart from that, the differences of approach, which then may also lead to differences of opinion, they should be allowed. So that there's no need to discuss whether this book or that book is the best choice when we want to know about chakras. The main thing we have to verify is if a number of selected individuals may find this book or that book interesting enough to put in the library. That should be how we approach it. There is really, and this is quite natural, a lot of, let's say, marketing going on by different teachers, by different authors, by different institutions and organizations to promote their path, to promote their practice, to promote their remedies as being the number one, as being the best. So we should be aware of that, but knowing there that all these have something worthwhile to say. So when we are looking which is still in the process, I believe, how to select books for this library. We should understand this quite properly, that these books will be complementary to each other and giving each of the readers different views, different approaches, which then these readers can themselves try out and from their own experience then select that which seems to work for them and that which then they can also pass on to their students. So it is not a matter of opinion how to select which book. It is mostly a matter of, I would say, notoriety of the author, of the organization who produces that body of knowledge, so that we can be certain that it is well-founded. And well-founded usually means based on a practice, based on a tradition, based on results. One of the beautiful things I believe about the old traditions is that they have survived until today. And that means that they have something to offer. If I, as an author or yoga teacher, start preaching something which does not work, then very clearly this knowledge will not last because it doesn't work. So that is the great thing about these many traditions. So all of these traditions, all of these authors, they have something to offer. This is not a matter of opinion. It is a matter of, okay, what are they doing with it? What are they able to do with it? How much can it really help? And if enough people say, okay, this book for me really helped me, really brought me some techniques, some therapies, whatever, that I could use with success, then this should be enough. That other people may have other views and other opinions, this is a different thing, you know. This is a little bit to do also with the particular nature of our mind to think in black and white, in right and wrong. But truly, when we study the subject of health and happiness, we will find that there is no right and wrong, there is no black and white, there is just that which works for the person which sits in front of you. And in that way, it is very much a matter of applying complementary techniques. Like my healing practice is mostly based on tantric practices from Nepal, combined also with then more general yogic practices, I would say. But I very often cooperate with other healers, with osteopaths, with therapists, psychologists, and many other people who in their own field really have something to offer. And when a medical problem, let's say, is chronic, it exists for some time, then we will find that it will manifest on so many different levels of the physical body, of the joints and the organs, the nerves, the blood, so many things, metabolism. But also then on the mental level, when we start working with people, we will understand that to make them more relaxed, to make them more happy, to make them more able to be happy independent of what happens, has many levels. And so we will need to combine the expertise of many specialists in order to really bring a person forward. So that also should be the idea behind this library, I believe, that there's no need to fight. The only thing needed is to find out good books, which are found worthy by some people whom themselves also have a certain background, a certain experience, and a certain knowledge. So that is all. And I think if this can be very clear from the start, then this library will be very interesting for people to use and will really successfully promote yoga and naturopathy in Bangladesh. So I think that is a little bit an insight here from Belgium. I don't really have much to do in a practical way with the setup of this library, but I think it's very important because I've seen similar situations in other organizations. I am also very much a member of the European Yoga Federation and have been quite active there. And I've seen how discussions about these things are really quite disturbing to the whole setup and should be as much as possible avoided. The fact, as I said, that some people can vote for the worthiness of a certain book, that should be enough. No need to compare one book to another and seek out to find which is the best book. It doesn't exist on any subject. All this literature, when it is well founded, is complementary. So I hope with this to have added a little subject to the story, which is important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Master. I must say that apart from your books, I follow your videos, YouTube videos, and those are really, really helpful, life-changing, I must say. So please continue to enlighten and educate us through your videos and books. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, next up we have our Honorable Member of Parliament, Ms. Aroma Dotto, who is also a great social and human rights activist. She is here with us today. I must mention that she is the glorious legacy of the War of Independence and Liberation, and she herself is a heroic freedom fighter. We are honored to have you today with us, ma'am. We would be very honored if you could share your views and thoughts on today's E-Library launching ceremony. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me for this particular occasion of launching the E-Library. Which is something very new for me and maybe new for many others like me. I would like to congratulate Harmony Trust for initiating this E-Library, which is so innovative, particularly in this era of pandemic COVID, especially when everything has become virtual. It's quite fascinating because now the whole globe is become e-globe, which makes me laugh to see the flip side of the COVID, that COVID has taught us to be more faster now with everything to go through E. So it's e-governance, it's e-library, e-yoga, e-restaurant, e-universities, everything is E now. So which is also good in a way for many, many, many people to get involved, which is a necessity. Which is a necessity in the sense that the knowledge will be disseminated much faster. I think this is what Harmony Trust vision is, to transfer the knowledge so that people around the world can have access to this e-library, which will be very important at this very particular moment especially when the planet is changing. Planet has changed to a large extent, and it is in the process of something which is transforming us to become, how would I say, global citizen. We are moving beyond our national parameter and have moved to a global context. Given this situation, the benefit which has been taken up by Harmony Trust is quite strategic, I would say. It's very strategic. First of all, because as my knowledge is a bit limited, but I can assure that with this, that I think I'm confident that there are not very many knowledge hub on yoga in the world. So I think this will become a hub, and which will strengthen the position for Harmony Trust to become the knowledge hub, to transfer the knowledge to all type of generations, to all category of people around the world who would like to take the advantage for transferring their system. I think this is also talking about a system, the system which speaks very clearly about that even without a normal place, because normally yoga, you have a yoga center, you have a like yoga institute and so on and so forth. So people had limited access. But now with this Harmony Trust, with the E-Library, I mean, this will broaden the horizon, very much broaden the horizon for knowledge transfer. And I think this is the objective of Harmony Trust is to transfer the knowledge very fast and build capacities of different kind of, people around the world, especially in our continent, in our subcontinent, and also in other continents, because then we will have access for exchange of knowledge, exchange of methods, exchange of the skills also. And this is something which is quite fascinating in the sense that I sincerely think that with this E-Library also will encourage, this is also an encouragement for the youngsters. Especially the youngsters now need to move into a kind of a world where they can share their frustrations, their depressions, because we are going through a very critical phase in many aspects, particularly economically, socially, politically, in all aspects, and which is not very good in the sense that how to overcome from this condition and to become healthy physically and mentally. And this kind of being more productive, coming out of this kind of, phase of depression, I think this is something very, very special in the way that this E-Library will offer and will bring all the masters around the world. And I think that is one of the, Harmony Trust has been thriving at, to bring the global masters in one place, that is the E-Library, so that they can have access to all big masters of yoga around the world, which will provide to enrich the horizon of yoga practice, yoga science, because yoga is a science. And that is something which I felt quite interested to see, that Harmony Trust, with the support from all other yoga masters of the world, will provide something which is so very new. The concept is new, it is very innovative in the sense that this innovation will create a platform, a real big platform for the practitioners as well as with the theoreticians. And we'll also have, the doors will open for them to have access to the global yoga practitioners, yoga gurus, yoga teachers. So this is what I feel is extraordinary kind of an approach. It's a kind of a extraordinary philosophy, and this was a kind of an endeavor which will definitely help the young group, the new generation to come, and also all category of ages of people. I mean, older, younger, men, women, of all category people of the world, when we are passing through a very difficult, challenging tunnel. So this is a kind of a beacon which is hope of light, and I feel that this e-library will definitely create a tremendous interest, and also will provide something to enrich the yoga practitioners, to promote. Particularly, I think promotion also is one of the major area to mainstream yoga, because I think it is so much needed for your mind and for your health. And this e-library is promoting and supporting to become more healthier physically and mentally, so that you can offer more to this changing era. This is a changing era. I consider this is absolutely a changing era. And this changing era only could be done through e-practice, e-governance, e-library, e-yoga. So everything is now, as I say, that we are going through a phase of ease. So this is one of the super ease which will make the Harmony Trust one of the pioneer in the world to promote yoga, so that we can convert ourselves to this challenging world, that how can we be even much better to cope with this changing context. And that is what I consider is one of the best thing that Harmony Trust has offered today. So I wish all the best to Harmony Trust, particularly to the chair of the CEO of the Harmony Trust, Mr. Amitabh Bhattacharya, and his excellent team, and all the super gurus and super supporters who are here today, and to the world of yoga who can bring changes for the new era to cope with this pandemic situation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable speech. You have very nicely explained the super ease. We are really living in a world of ease. So yeah, thank you for that. And you explained the necessity of becoming healthy mentally and physically, which is very important. Also, you very nicely explained Harmony Trust motives. Thank you for that, ma'am. We really appreciate that. I would like to thank once again our all our dignitary guests for taking your time out from your busy schedule and honoring us with your presence. Thank you so much. And now I would request our respected chairperson of Harmony Trust, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Sabur, to give the closing remarks. Once again, thank you all. Sir Abdul Sabur, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Faria. Thank you, everybody. I don't have much to add because everything probably has already been said. The only issue I want to remind everyone is that health is so crucial for development that without health, either you can't achieve development or you can't sustain development. So that has already been established. Now, health is also a human rights. So you can't ensure human rights without ensuring health. And in a global situation where the global leadership, including those of Bangladesh, has committed themselves to achieve the universal health coverage, we need to allow many, many flowers to blossom. Only one particular methodology of treatment will not be in a position to ensure universal health coverage. And that is why probably the greatest importance of naturopathy, alternate medical care, what we call as a whole, is important. Harmony Trust is basically trying to promote that universal health coverage through promoting reflexology, acupressure, naturopathy. And in that roadmap, Harmony Trust is also developing this knowledge hub, because without scientific knowledge, you can't proceed further. And as Peter rightly has said, that there is so much availability and also so much unavailability of the things, and often conflicting with each other. So therefore, a knowledge hub will basically help everybody to contribute to achieve that universal health coverage, to achieve that human right, to achieve that need of development, that pioneer pillar of development. So from our side, we are trying our best, and everybody's support is required, because nothing can be accomplished by alone. As Mr. Shah Alam, the DIG of police, has testimonied from his own experiences, and he has been very innovative in expanding this reflexology within the police forces. More than 3,000 police officers has already been trained. Okay, so if every one of us from our own area start promoting it, and we'll be not promoting this for simple reason. We want to ensure the human rights, health, human rights. Okay, we want to ensure that the development of Bangladesh remains sustainable, don't get threatened with the health issues. Okay, we want to make sure that we achieve universal health coverage by 2030, to which our leadership has promised both nationally and internationally. So therefore, all of our responsibility is to work according to our ability, according to our scope, to that goal. So we remain committed to work along all of you, and your presence basically gives us much more encouragement. Your presence it tells us that we are the same people. We are comrades in arms. We are comrades in fighting to ensure health, human rights, to ensure universal health coverage. Thank you again, everybody, for their kind presence. Thank you, everybody, from Peter, particularly from Belgium, from India, but also from Bangladesh. A couple of people have joined and basically encouraged us. I'm sure in future we will also be blessed with your presence, with your contribution, with your support. So thank you, everybody, for your kind presence, your encouragement, your contribution. I take this opportunity to thank all of you and to conclude the session. Thank you again.